doing is I'm floating with a martini.
Hi, that's I don't know. My whole thing just like crapped out.
All right,
Oh.
good beach episode, guys.
Yep, the beach episode.
It was definitely a flashback because you're like in the middle of doing stuff.
Beach episode.
No, with Shadow Walk, we can take a beach episode whenever we want.
And we basically did, and I went blind because I saw Clancy in a Speedo.
And I dog paddled as a human whilst
I tentatively was thinking the next time we had to do like a whatever that oh, I lost Mist. The Kobold Enchanter. He's got a quest, so
Oh my god.
And he'll have random adventures with him of some sort. So, but anyways, let's get back to what's going on here. All right. So yeah, you guys are in town. Mist is done touching his wood in front of everyone. Probably. Yep. And we all had a moment. Everyone learned that Giuseppe just wants to be, sat on sometimes, and who doesn't?
A chair.
Yeah. So now what?
Now we set up Giuseppe with a therapy appointment.
I guess we need to go see the Duke.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you're heading to the front gate, I presume. And
you're walking through the front gate. That's what you're saying. They'll let us in this time. They're gonna do what we say.
So
they don't. Somebody gonna die. What? I mean.
Yes. So when you knock on the door, the little slat opens up, and you see a pair of eyes, and then it's like, oh, it's you guys. And it closes back up, and it opens up, and let's see, Melody, Gray, and Mist would recognize Gundry, the ranger who was your driver when y'all went to McAteer the first time, and was because he was the one who was part of the when you guys were sent to kidnap Imogen.
Oh, what up, Gunny?
Did you guys leave Joel? I lost Joel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Give me a minute. Maybe. You guys all still there?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone's just sitting like super stoned. I was like, ah, crap, it's all gone again. And you guys still don't have Joel?
Correct.
Correct.
Oh, there he is. All right. He's back. He's gone.
Well, that was the game.
What is happening? What is
Roll
happening?
20s, being a dick.
Yeah.
What's new?
This time it's bigger and blacker.
Oh, okay.
There. He's back again, maybe?
I think we're good.
Okay. So yeah, Gundry is like, oh, guys, come in. It's like, hey, Mist, Gray, Melody, and people I don't know.
Just calling strangers 1, 2, and 3. No, I'm just kidding.
I am Clancy, sir, as I bow.
He's like, I don't care.
And Agnar's like, I am Agnar, as Agnar haphazardly bows.
He's like, wait, Agnar. Wait, Mist, didn't you say you had like a party member die, Agnar? You got a new guy named Agnar?
Same guy.
No, you said he was dead.
I was. Oh, fuck, I almost mixed up Clancy and him.
He was dead as shit.
And he's like, and now he's not dead?
Yep.
He's like, you know what? I don't care.
I kind of feel like I just thought about this and I don't know why I did, but when we were doing the funeral for Agnar, I remember I tried to respectfully do the whole cremation 21 fireball salute and fell in and burned myself. I feel like in retelling some of these stories, he probably found it hilarious.
Did you leave out the part where you looted his body first?
I can't remember if I omitted that or not.
Yeah.
Agnar doesn't care.
Yeah, I was about to say, he would have expected it of our party. It would have made him proud.
So, anyways, so Gundry's like, so, what brings you guys here?
Clancy's like, we are here because we have a big problem.
He's like, I mean, you guys kind of are a big problem.
Yes, but we're a big problem that provides solutions to bigger problems.
He says, so, okay, you got a problem. Are you wanting to speak to Hagar or Darren's
I'm gonna
here?
stop you right there. When I said we, I mean all of us.
He says, I mean, I figured that your group's got a problem.
That includes you.
He says, oh, I don't have a problem. I live here behind these walls where everything is safe.
Are those walls going to protect you against 100,000 plus goblins?
He says, I mean, if such a thing existed, I guess.
No.
But
no.
What, Greg?
Well, then do I have terrible, terrible, terrible news for you.
This seems like a thing that's above my pay grade. I watched The Wall, right? So maybe I'll take you to
But with help, you could get your own band of killers just like us.
Hire now.
But you have to act now.
I
Only
watched the
$9.99 gold
Per second.
I drive the cart. All right. I shoot some arrows. That's what I do. All right. So, you know what? Let me just do 1 second. Let me call someone. And he whistles. And a few seconds go by, and then suddenly, just out of the sky, comes a figure, lands, feet imprinting to the ground, fully erect, with his fists on his hips, going, ha 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 ha! It is I, Hawkins. And then
Fucking hell.
Gundry says
He would land directly, the fucking dick.
Right, and then Gunny goes, he says, no, not Hawkins. And he says, oh yes, it is I, Steve.
Not Hawkins.
Hawkins is dead. Haha. But it's me, Hawkins. And then you see Gunny just shake his head.
God,
He says,
I hate that guy, but he's so funny.
he's like, what is
What a
up?
piece
He
of
says,
shit.
Gottrin, my old pal, what's going on?
I give him a fist bump.
He's like, oh yeah, you still with these jokers?
Yeah.
He says,
I tell Jethro, give him a double fist bump with explosions.
Jethro just nods his head, and he keeps his lips pursed because he still can't talk. And he goes like this, and Hawkins looks down and he says, "Okay, I'll bite." And he reaches out and actually, I'm gonna have Jethro roll for his performance with the. Well, you can roll for him. Roll 2d6 -1 because his charisma's not great.
Mom.
Yeah.
It's the worst fist bump explosion anyone's ever seen.
It's perfect.
It looks like a fist
Good job,
bump melts.
Jethro. Good job, Jethro.
And so Hawkins looks at you and he's like, "Are you like with this halfling, or what's going on there?"
Okay. I smell him and say he smells delicious and he's my bud.
He says, "Oh, okay. I mean, who am I to judge? Doesn't seem like
Totally
your type,
forgot
but,
about that.
Whatever. Is he a mute?"
He is for till I tell him no.
He says, "Oh, I get you. That's kinky, kinky stuff." He says, "Anyways, what brings you guys here?" And he's just like, just the biggest grin. Think of him as like a, like the personality of All Might, but like with a dark side.
Oh God.
Great. A horde of goblins
He says, goblins brought you here? Like, did they pull your carriage or
Like-
something?
The biggest fucking thing you've ever seen.
I mean, they're just
Thousands
goblins,
upon
right?
thousands.
I mean, thousands
Upon thousands.
It sounds like an exaggeration, but sure.
It was not.
He says, maybe we should go somewhere and talk.
Yeah, good idea.
Why does everybody not?
We've
fuck-
only been trying to do this whole time.
He says, yeah, come with me. We'll go to Hagar's throne room. We'll talk to him. And he just like walks off, And I assume
Clancy
you
and Agnar follow behind.
Nobody ever fucking believes us when we try to tell them something.
Yeah.
No.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
And look at you guys. I wouldn't believe you.
Man,
Fuck
wanna
you,
go,
Hawkins.
man.
Hawkins knows what we're about.
Yeah. Hawkins like killed one of his men right in front of you because the guy was gonna be a zombie,
It's true.
and then wiped his blade off and was like, told his friend to take the screaming wife out of the room or whatever.
Yeah. What do we do now, guys? Let's go.
Yeah.
Did not
So
phase
yeah.
him at all.
No. I don't know if you guys recall, but Brutus, upon seeing fake Hawkins, if y'all remember fake Hawkins back in the day,
Who that person never existed?
Huh?
I was like, who that person never existed? I have no idea who you refer to.
Well, there was a time where there was an
I know.
He's
Yeah.
fucking with you, man.
Yes, I know. I remember fake Hawkins, but we're supposed to not remember
Yeah,
fake
Falcons. Falcons.
Yeah.
Old Falcons.
Well, no, they explicitly like, like I don't know, paid you or whatever to say that Hawkins was there for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So you walked into the castle and you walk through the halls, or whatever. So you walk into Hagar's throne room. As soon as you walk in, Hagar like looks up from the throne, and there's like something blocking your view of him. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, just all right. I'll see you later." And then you see like something like slither off of him in a way.
That's not suspicious at all.
And Hawkins is like, "It's like, oh, sorry, Hagar, forgot it was 2:00." And
Good reference.
he's like, anyways, your favorite band of adventurers is here. Says they got goblin problems. Says it might be our problem too. And Hagar says, "Oh, all right, well, bring him in." So as you guys are walking in, he's like, he looks over at Gottrin and he says, "Is that Gottrin Bitterforge, the notorious thief?"
The notorious.
An over exaggerated nod.
He's like, "Yeah, I mean, it's super notorious." He's like, "Well, just keep your hands to yourself." And he winks. And Hawkins is like, he's a buddy of mine. Don't worry about it. So you guys get up there, and then do you just sort of like lay the whole thing out for him, or?
Yep.
100%. I spare as little detail as possible in describing each of the goblins that were fucking my day up.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, dear God. That sounds just awful. So, what do you want us to do about it?"
Well,
Help.
we assume that since these goblins are coming down to the south, that they're probably very, very likely going to try and take over the rest of this continent. Now, I know you don't like them, but I may or may not have sent envoys to the Minotaur Nation to warn them as well. We need to get everyone together to murder the hell out of these things.
So, he says, "Yeah, I mean, we'll lend whatever aid we can. Hawkins, what do you think?" And Hawkins has been quiet
You get to kill things, Hawkins.
So Hawkins says, I'm going to need everyone to be quiet for a minute. I've got a lot to say on this, actually, and it's not something I like to talk about because it was a different time.
You're a goblin.
He had sex with a goblin.
Yeah, my mom was a goblin.
My mom, no. He says, so I've been around a long time. And he says, when I say a long time,
This is the I fucked a goblin speech.
I swear, if he fucking talked to you, if this fucker's a god, I'm gonna be very angry.
no.
Anyway,
Wouldn't surprise me.
He says, I fought in the War of the Gods. Actually, I fought on the side of the Tuatha De Danann. I mean, it's been over 2,000 years since that happened, and I've changed my name several times since then. And I typically don't speak on these matters, but if the goblins are truly assembled in the way that you were describing, then that likely indicates that Onyxia is been or being revived.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
Oh. Okay. So, do you know if she's been revived?
Not exactly.
He says, well, do you know the story of Onyxia?
No.
Please tell us.
He says,
ooh, story time.
He says, well, I'll some of the details are fuzzy, and it was a
After
pretty
2,000
wild.
years, I figured you'd be an old man.
Well, Onyxia goes back much further than that, I'm afraid, and so a lot of it's passed down. So I may not have all the details right, but I'll tell you what I know. It says notes. Gotta find the notes. People have notes.
Do they?
Yeah. I have to cycle down through them. Or cycle up through them, rather.
It all started when I was pushed out in front of a truck, and then I got revived in this world. What?
He says, okay, so he says, Onyxia was an ancient sort of dragonoid creature, and one of the original inhabitants of this world long before it was ever inhabited by gods or fae or mortals. So when the gods showed up, as it's told, they befriended Onyxia, but they were using her to enslave the other dragonoids on the planet. Dragons possess a unique power to this world that's unseen by anyone outside of it, actually. So obviously, Onyxia wasn't really happy about that, as you could imagine. And so she found out, I guess, that she could take the gods by killing them and eating their souls. And so I guess she started doing just that.
It all makes sense now.
Of course, when the gods found out that was even possible, there was a pretty big campaign to wipe out all of the dragons, because with that kind of power, it puts all the gods under threat. But as the story goes, as Onyxia consumed the gods and took their power, it began to sort of twist and corrupt her, and when she decided she couldn't handle all of the things she needed to do by herself, she created a race of her own. This is the goblins. And so she created the goblins to do her bidding, her little army of sadistic soldiers twisted by the same magic that was inside her. And then, even beyond that, there was a race of subterranean sort of bug-like creatures on the planet, which she enslaved as well. And she put up a pretty mighty fight against the gods. This is before the war. The gods were still united at this point. She messed up though. She aligned herself with this wizard of some sort. I don't know, some otherworldly wizard, who promised the gods that he could seal her up, and he did just that. Sealed her into a cave somewhere on the continent. I don't know where. But once they sealed her up, the goblins sort of became feral and just sort of started doing whatever they wanted. But they're goblins, and what they wanted was just chaos and destruction. So, a lot of their numbers were cold, and there's still some about, obviously, but they're not a major threat
I'll be
anymore
right
at this
back,
point.
guys.
And the all of the openings to the subterranean bugs were sealed off, so they can no longer wreak the havoc across the world. And once she was gone, I think there was a time of peace, is my understanding, but peace never lasts, and people take sides and vie for power, and of course the gods went to war eventually. But if she's free and organizing the goblins, then we could all be in some actually pretty serious trouble.
Well, consider us in pretty serious trouble.
He says, look, I'm not typically scared, but I'm scared.
And I always thought you
Well,
was
stop
a
being a
son of
pussy.
bitch.
He says,
Well.
well, I am what I eat, aren't I? Ha ha! And he finger guns you.
Good one.
There's the asshole. He's back.
That's where it was. So after 2,000 years, you're free, and it's time to conquer Earth. What? No.
She's been so. He said the War of the Gods was 2,000 years ago, and he fought in that. She's been sealed away for, possibly tens of thousands of years.
Well, how the fuck old are you then?
Well, he doesn't remember. So he wasn't around for so he kind of expresses this, but he wasn't around during her time. He only, because there were no, when she was around and fighting with the gods, there were no really like a lot of other races around. It was mostly just like divine beings.
Well, it's been a long time. How old are you actually?
Oh, okay. He goes, I don't count anymore, but I mean, I
When
think
did you
about,
stop counting?
he says, my best estimate is somewhere in the 3,000s.
Interesting.
Was it really, really hot? You know what? Never mind. I'm not even gonna yes.
Well,
Never mind.
let me put it to you like this.
If you're asking me if I have goblin, then maybe.
You had Goblin?
I mean, I don't remember everything I've ever done in my life, and I've gotten pretty wasted. But like, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I mean,
Whatever.
you've been around 3,000 years. You try things.
Alright.
So,
You
listen.
humans are really crazy. Kind of
What
like
are you
you
doing?
guys.
Well, he's an elf.
Whatever. Same thing. No, that's Gray don't know the difference. You're all people who walk upright. He doesn't. At times.
Except for when he does.
Except when I do. I drink Foster's, but no.
I don't always
drink
walk upright, but
Dos
when I do,
I drink Dos Equis. Anyway.
Listen, we would absolutely love your help in defeating Anixia. If you don't feel like fighting her, that's fine too. Just deal with these fucking goblins. That would be wonderful.
he says, "Yeah, we can put some armor together. I think we can put together about 5,000 men, maybe."
listen, we could use some more help with that too. Actually, we have a friend in the what is it, the third prince?
Well, Darren was mostly raised by Hagar.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Sort of like
This is where he came from.
Yeah, so even though he's the king's son, because he's the third son, right? He's like sort of discarded to the dukedoms. So he was raised by Hagar, which is why he's got a little different of a worldview. Because Hagar, as a dwarf, during like all the persecution, created this city as a haven for basically magical people and whatever, and that's why they're they're like guarded and not well liked by the rest of the dwarven nation.
Okay.
Clancy wouldn't necessarily know that.
If we could somehow get Darren onto the throne, we could potentially have more people to fight those goblins.
So Hagar says, "Oh God, I would love for Darren to be on the throne, but I mean, there's the king and the name is what's the name of the second-born son. There's the king and Dorian."
Yes, but what if they weren't?
I mean,
Okay, Clancy, I don't think we should. You know what? Whatever. Forget. At this point,
Hawkins says, he says, the king starts to speak, or the duke, and Hawkins holds his hand up and he says, I mean, you guys were at my trial, right? You know that, like, I was totally innocent, wink, of, murdering the firstborn prince.
Of course, wink.
He says,
Who are you again?
He says, Steve, my name's Steve.
Where'd Hawkins go?
Who's that?
Hawk Law. He works at a law firm now.
Oh.
He fights for you.
Hawkins, attorney at first man at law.
Yeah, he says, look, we would love for Darren to be on the throne because then he could rightfully marry Imogen and there'd be no one to stop him.
If only we had someone who was willing to get rid of them.
If you're proposing what I understand you to be proposing,
long live the new king.
I'm in, but we need to have this conversation not right here. He says, I'm sorry.
In the middle of a crowded tavern. So how are we gonna kill them?
No, you're in the king's throne room.
That'd be fucking hilarious, though.
But he's like, Hagar, perhaps you should excuse yourself and finish up your 2:00 business. And Hagar says, oh, yes, I do have business to finish. And he wanders off out of the room. And after he leaves and the door closes, he says, all right, so obviously the Duke can't be complicit in an assassination plan. I mean, obviously. So
of course,
we could just ask him nicely to get off.
I was gonna say, you don't know that.
yes, asking nicely works great.
He says, I mean, if asking nicely worked, then we wouldn't be in the state that we're in as a country. So, we it's might makes right around here. All right, it's the only thing that's worked for thousands of years. So, look, do you have a plan?
So here's the thing. I don't have an exit plan, but I can provide you the means to get into the king's chambers alone.
He's like, look,
Murder,
here's the thing.
the other white meat.
I got in one time. It took 6 months of planning to even make it possible. And even after I had a pretty viable alibi, it still caught up with me, right? And even if I step foot out of this sort of sanctuary, they're going to detect me. I mean, they're still looking for me everywhere, nonstop. And it's only because of the magical wards protecting this place that they haven't found me, and don't think they haven't looked here also. So I'm probably not your guy. I can help maybe in some planning, but I'm not the one.
Do you have people capable of escape?
Escape.
You mean people on the inside?
What? No. What we could do, I'm going to divulge some secrets to a man that I barely know.
We know him. That's the problem.
I can place people
He does.
directly beside the king and the second prince,
He says,
but they have to be willing to die for the cause or be able to escape by themselves.
so there are a few problems with that. So the Dwarven Kingdom has some pretty intense magical protections around it and a lot of magical alarming devices. So it may not be that your magic works the way you want it to or at all for, I assume, teleportation. The other problem is the king himself and the prince, especially since the murder of the last prince, have had some pretty beefed up magical wards and guards put with them. So, and I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just saying it's not going to be as easy as just dropping in and trying to stab them.
Hey
Hey,
guys,
then
why
do you
don't we
know-
let that god that's loose downstairs?
Do you know roughly the dimensions of whatever magical barrier there might be?
He says, "Well, there's several walls, and then the mountain that it's inside of has runes carved all along the inside of it."
Gray,
Explosives?
how much of that
Explosives.
explosives do you have?
Oh, boom booms?
Oh God.
I don't know. They've been just stockpiling it there.
So you have
They've been
several
gone
barrels.
for a while.
Plus, you have the
I mean,
3
if you
barrels-
can go back
three-
to
you also
you
have
could
the 3
just go
barrels of
back to,
explosive from Westbrook as well.
yeah, well, couldn't we just go back to Westbrook's house and get all those barrels?
Oh yeah, he's got
Indeed.
crap done.
Yeah, remember he's got all those barrels. You just, do your thing, and you can get
Darren's
the barrels.
here, correct?
Huh?
I'm asking, fucking, goddammit, Hawthorne, Hawkridge, whatever the
Hawkins.
hell.
Steve.
Hawkins. Steve. I'm asking Steve whether or not Darren's here.
So, oh yeah, Darren. He's over at the church. He's still praying about what to do. I think you guys gave him some disturbing news about his father's castle. Something about
So
a
I
god trapped
imagine the
beneath it?
entire time that Hawkins or Steve just wears a pair of glasses like Superman was. So, they don't know he's Hawkins.
Perfect.
So, it's good that he's here. But if I'm going to make what I'm concocting work, we're going to have to lie to him.
He says, I mean, I lie to him all the time. I tell him he's handsome, I tell him that, he's strong. I tell him that he's fast, I basically lie to him nonstop.
Okay, good. So here's my plan. First, I'm going to shadow walk some suicide bombers over top of the mountain. They're going to light the barrels, and when it lands, it's going to start blowing parts of the mountain up.
He says, okay.
Why can't we just
Hopefully we can
ask?
blow up about half the mountain. Because you know damn well ain't no king going to get rid of their throne.
For the right type of destruction, he will.
We're about to show him the right type of destruction.
I mean, so let me just interject real quick, possibly,
We gotta kill everybody.
right?
That's
He
what it
says,
sounds like.
First of all, you got a dwarf right there, and he points at Godrin. And he says, it's a dwarven nation, right? He could kind of just possibly walk in, We gussy him up, make him look like a stately dwarf. Say he's got some money, We waltz him right in there. And then, I don't know. Once that's done, somehow get him to the king.
Okay, so let me finish telling you my plan.
Okay.
First, we use those suicide bombers to blow up parts of the mountain that remove some of the runes casting the protective barrier. Then I teleport assassins in to kill both the king and the prince.
And he
They
says,
can do what they see fit after that.
And you've got assassins that can break through magical barriers and, are insanely strong and are willing to die?
Hence blowing up the runes that cast the magical barriers.
I'm saying the personal barriers on the king. He has armor. He has mithril armor. It's magically enchanted.
Yeah, but if you avoid the gaps in the armor right quick.
That's some pretty skilled assassins, I assume, then.
No, just a guy with a knife, really. He's gonna be right behind the king. He'll have time.
This is, it sounds a little sketchy, and if it fails, it's only going to make it harder.
I personally think it's better than splitting the party.
He says. And where are these men that you have?
Got some pretty pissed off minotaurs.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute now.
He says, you're
Calm
going to
down
teleport minotaurs into the Dwarven Nation.
While they're already having... what? I don't know about that one, Clancy.
They're in the middle of the war as it is, right? And that'll just make it worse.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
They're not going to work together then.
Ever.
Right? Yeah, ever. We can't... Why don't we teleport a goblin into... Why don't we find a goblin?
Tie a bomb to him and just teleport him in there. And
Yeah, why don't we teleport a goblin in there to assassinate the king? Because this is going to go freaking crazy.
A
Well-
goblin here high on fairy dust.
At this point, I don't actually care.
So,
What
hold on.
With
hold on,
knives
hold
taped
on.
to his hands.
Hold on. As soon as you say hi and fairy dust, Ricky goes, say, what? Fairy dust. And he spits.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
And so yeah, what is this? Clancy reply to that plan at all?
I said at this point, Clancy doesn't really care what we do.
Yeah.
I've come up with one plan. Someone else do some planning.
I don't know how to get them to work together.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out myself.
I vote we
So,
send Gotrin in, and he tries to parlay with him, and if it doesn't work, then he kills him.
So
No.
well, I'll tell you what. So we can fade out on this conversation, and if you guys
And
wanna,
Gotrin becomes king.
throw ideas back and forth over the next week. and
Gotrin
come back,
becomes the king.
Hell yes.
and then we can come back and finish this discussion next week when you guys have had more time to sort of think about what tools you have available and whatever. So that's what you want to do.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, all right, and then we'll we'll pick up next week with more plan discussion, and we'll see what happens.
Sweet.
All right. Bye.
Sounds good.
Stop the stream. Bye, stream. Bye, Brazil.
Bye, Brazil.
Later,
Did you-
Brazil.